Looks right to me.
Okay, to get the airbag out so we can remove this steering wheel, there is 2 clips on either side. I'm gonna use a screwdriver to do that. I couldn't tell you what model years this happens on. I feel like Ford seems to change it every couple of years sometimes, and they tweak it. For a long time, they had holes on the side where you would use a 3.5 millimeter Allen wrench and you'd push it through and you'd push the tabs that way. And now it changed to, I think, the tabs on both left and right, but you have to turn the steering wheel, so I'll show you. So we're gonna turn the key on, and truthfully, so this is one of those times where it's do as I say, not as I do. And I've just gotten comfortable over the years and pulling airbags with them powered up. I wouldn't recommend you doing it, especially if, you've only done it once or twice. Disconnect the battery, but it's still the same process for the most part to get them out. Okay, and that slot, and that, yeah, you might be able to see it in there. When I remove these, I always stand to the side. Doesn't guarantee anything, but since I have the power connected. Okay, airbag's disconnected. Horn's disconnected. Now, most manufacturers say to not lay these face down, or I'd say emblem down. You want to, something like that, to where if somehow this thing goes off due to static electricity, it blows up like that and it doesn't become a projectile. I've never had one blow up. The next thing I'm going to go after, probably should be this connector here, these 2 connectors. This is the heated steering wheel connector, and then this connector up here is hard to see. That is the connector for our buttons here, and actually, for some reason, I want to just disconnect or pull this bolt real quick. Impact's in my hand, so I might as well. These aren't usually torqued very much, but they put a ton of red Loctite on it. An excessive amount of red Loctite I'm kind of against, but I wouldn't want my steering wheel to fall off whenever I'm driving down the road, I could think of a lot of things that I wouldn't mind happening. That's one that I definitely don't want to happen. Okay, I gotta remember that the steering wheel is basically facing left. That's it. Pretty simple. Okay, make sure my connector for the airbag goes through. Make sure I don't get the clock spring messed up. Come on, you. That plugged in. I'm just plugging my 2 connectors back in, and now I'm going to get some red Loctite to put on that bolt. I red Loctite the crap out of it. Okay, when I install this, I'm going to give you guys the good shot. That way, if the airbag goes off, you get to experience it, right? That's cool, right? It's like, I mean, when any other time would you get to experience something like that? Why isn't, come on, go together. Go to your home. There we are. That was just the horn. Ah, I just scared the crap out of myself. Whoo, I jumped. Okay, that's a good sign. Horn works. It's one bad thing. You honk the horn whenever you're kind of on edge like that, and then it spooks you. Okay. Okay, that works. I say okay a lot. Okay, 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 okay. I guess if I could say it like a radio DJ, that'd be cool, right? Let's go into... Do we not have... Oh, I think it's apps. Nope, not that. Features? No. Is it only? Ah, there's a button for it right here. I was expecting it to be up here. It's working. I can already feel it. It's warming up. Oh yeah. That's real nice. Let's make sure these buttons work. Okay, yeah, that's a good sign. Back, trip, menu, back. Oh, there's volume. Don't want to get demonetized. What's your like classic rock station? In Central Missouri, it's 96.7. And I like a lot of music on there, but as I was working in, well, basically one shop that I really ever worked in, but I worked in a couple others, the one station in this area that they always have on is 96.7, and that station is guilty, just like most other stations, of constantly playing. I mean, it's almost every day, a certain time, this one song comes on, and that drives me nuts. So I don't even really listen to radio much, but I know we have it fixed. I can feel it's warm. Everything's happy. We're done. I don't think I did it on video, but I went and drove this again, and then I pulled it in the shop and looked at it and shook the front end down, and I believe we have warped rotors, possibly a caliper that's kind of starting to stick, which I'm not going to focus on that too much because I don't have a brake pull or anything. That could just be something, I don't know. I'm not gonna, but warped rotors and then steering joints that are loose. And so the rotors may start shaking, and then the steering really gets to going, and that's what's causing our oscillation or steering death wobble when, only when braking and only when slowing down from, I'd say, highway speed, and you need to actually slow down like on an off ramp and you're coming to a stop. That's what I think we have going on. So I'm going to pull the rotors and machine them. Okay, you can see, I'll hold the mic up to my face so you guys can see there's a little bit of wobble there between that cutting edge and the rotor. Let's see if this one. So that little bit of wobble can cause vibration when braking. It's not really a lot, but yes, it can. So we're gonna go ahead and machine that, make that nice and smooth. And I'm not going to have the camera running very often. I'll get a little bit, but there's a lot of metal shavings going around. The camera and the mic are magnetic, and I really don't want a bunch of debris on that or dust in this. So. This thing's got 2 speeds. This red knob back here, this Amco version has 2 speeds, and so I'll usually do the faster cut. Basically, the drive is what's faster. I'll show you guys. See how that's spinning? That's how fast it feeds across the rotor. This does have pretty good warp to it. And then on my final cut, after I get it all cleaned up, I will do 1 slow pass just to make a nice clean cut. Now I have the red knob on that handle going towards the red panel, and you can see this is going much slower than before. And we're making a nice smooth cut for our final cut across the rotor. Now that I've got all the, you can see that rotor face looks nice and clean. So I was taking the lug nuts off this wheel and wasn't filming it because I'm just taking the lug nuts off wheel. Well, it uses this aftermarket spline design, which I really don't have a problem with. I have these on my F-150, but I don't torque them, or I don't run them on with an impact. I always torque these. I torque all lug nuts anymore just because over the years I've ran into, well, first off, I don't know how tight I'm getting it with an impact, and I don't want somebody to lose a wheel. And then also you can warp rotors by over torquing wheels. But then one of the biggest things is when you get them too tight. Well, my impact with this on here would not break this loose. So I was using my breaker bar over there, and I was having to put a ton of pressure on it. Well, I already have the vehicle jacked up enough to get the wheels off. And then this one decides to break. So now it's stuck. There's a little bit of spline there, but I don't know if it's enough to get on and actually bite. But I also don't want to damage the socket. It's always one broken bolt away from being a real pain. So I can still get the socket on a little bit. So I'm hoping that maybe with the heat, some penetrating fluid, and the impact, it will get it. That's great. That one's not happy. Imagine if one of you guys were on the side of the road dealing with this. All you want to do is put your spare tire on. Somebody had to over tighten the lug nuts. I mean, this can happen from rusted lug nuts as well, but these tires look pretty new. I'd say, It's been at least 6 months or so since those were put on. So what I'm thinking of doing is drilling down one of the shoulders here with drill bits and hoping to maybe split that lug nut, or at least weaken it so then I can split it and then get the impact on it. Broke the socket. I mean, I'm not surprised. They're not strong sockets. Okay, I'm gonna have to reevaluate. My reevaluation is, since the socket broke, I need to get a whole new set of lug nuts with a socket. I'm also gonna see if they have another kit for getting lug nuts off, just to give it a shot. I'll try drilling lug nuts more. Maybe it'll weaken. I don't know. So let's go to the store.
Diameter of the moon at whatever it is, 2160 miles.
Okay, for that white Chevy that we're having trouble getting the lug nuts off, I picked this up at Harbor Freight. I had purchased these. It's a 21 and a 19. Each one of those was like 20 something bucks. And I got this for 42, and it's got 4 in it, so I'm gonna end up taking those back. It's basically the same thing. I did get some lug nuts that we're gonna, whenever we finally get the broken ones off, I'm just gonna put these open end on there, because a whole set for all new lug nuts, from what I can tell, or even to get one, is pretty pricey. Okay, it feels like the 19 millimeter fits. Yeah, that's the 21 is actually physically too big. So the 18 was too small. I mean, it grabs some, but not like this. So we're gonna sometimes you just need the right tools, huh? Okay, let's get this rotor machined and go drive this thing. Let's see if we can get it done. Got the wheel off, got the rotor on the brake light, and this thing is warped. So I'll get this machined, but I mean, it does need some steering components, but he's trying to hold off for now, and I get it. So Christmas coming up, he just wants to drive it. So we'll probably get it done after the first of the year or soon after. I do much junk in my shop. I say that, I think, every time I'm on camera. It's becoming more manageable. And I think that's as the pads break into the rotors. Yes, it's actually more manageable. Okay, so maybe we did good. He definitely needs steering joints. Okay, we're doing 60. It does pull to the left. Yeah, we definitely helped. Okay, I'm happy. Awesome. Service trailer brake system. Service trailer brake system. I'm not pulling a trailer. Oh, now it's shaking some. It's... Oh, whatever. Okay. I feel like it's better than it was. Okay, next day, November 28th. Let's see what we can get done. I had a chiropractor appointment at 8 this morning. My wife's got one at 11:15, and I need to get as much, and our drive to our chiropractors is around 20 minutes, so that's what you get for living out in the country. We need to get the truck and trailer, and we're actually gonna load a customer's car just to take it back to them. It's this white Crown Vic sitting down here, but I'm just gonna load it on the trailer, take it back. I'm not charging them because it was one of those where get to it when you can, if you have a chance, you know, and that's like I was saying, we think it might be a fuel pump, but he bought a house not too long ago, and so he's actually got room now to park this thing, and then he was talking about just parting it out and selling parts off of it. So that's right up his alley. He was finishing a project of his own, and so yeah, let's get that loaded. And then this Explorer, we need to do a block test to see if we're getting combustion gases in the cooling system. Hopefully we're not, and the overheat was just maybe a thermostat or something, so we'll try to figure that out. I know the fans were working on high, maybe they weren't working on low. Who knows? Well, let's get this car loaded. Well, since I haven't gotten the pump fixed on my oil transfer tank to filter it before it goes in the heater, I gotta do it the way I used to do it. Run the oil through a paint screen. It's a mess over here, I need to clean this up. Yeah, heater's out of oil. I just noticed that, and with it being, well, it was 27 this morning outside, I need to make sure I keep some oil in that. That way it keeps this place from freezing. There's nothing really in here that I'm afraid that freeze I can think of, except for some of the chemicals that I have that I don't believe some of them are supposed to freeze. But other than that, it's just so I can stay warm in here. Jeez. Let's find a place. I don't need to tug on anything too tight right now, but okay, let's see if I can get this thing loaded up. Looks like the wheels are pretty much lined up. Well, that one is. This is the situation at the rear. So the tire went up like halfway on that ramp, and it looks like it's gonna sit right on the edge of the trailer. I mean, I still got a ways to go. We can pull it. I mean, as long as we can keep the tire on the trailer. I don't like to travel down the road with tires hanging off. That just freaks me out. I need to probably stay in the car at this point and make sure I hit the brake when I need to. So yeah, we're on there. We're a little crooked. That's gonna make coming off a little awkward. But I've dealt with that before, so not too worried. Let's get that Explorer in for a no. Get it in the Explorer. The Explorer with a no start. Let's get in and check out. And I suspect, since it overheated, that it's got. The reason it no started is basically it washed down the cylinders with coolant and fouled the plugs with coolant. And then I was able to get it fired, and then it overheated on me while driving, and it only overheated once I was driving, not at idle. So I suspect that the compression is getting in the coolant system and creating air pockets. Okay, to do this test, you want to make sure the coolant level in your radiator or tank here is not too much that it will push into this container. We're just going to add a little bit of this. There's a line that tells you how much. Put the top back on. And then we're going to start the engine and then use this little thing to suck air out. And if this fluid turns yellow, there's combustion gases. We'll let it run for a while and warm up. I don't think we're getting combustion gases in the cooling system, or it's just sucking coolant. Because let me show you this. Okay, so we have a kind of a mild steam coming out of the exhaust, you can see. For relatively just, starting it up and it's warming up, that can be kind of normal. And it's got a smell to it. And so, I mean, it is cold out today, so a little of that may be just the fact that it's cold out, but it does have a smell to it as well. So, I mean, even, not right now, but last time I had it in the shop, you could smell the exhaust had a, not an oil smell, but a coolant smell, like a burning coolant smell. Okay, you can see engine is up to temperature. I'm gonna go ahead and take it for a drive. Let's see what happens. Okay, so it's starting to get hot. I'll show you here in a second once I start driving. You can see the gauge is just starting to creep over to hot. And we don't have to drive that long, but what's causing the overheating and what's causing the no start? Yeah, it's hot. It's telling me engine. Well, it did. There. Engine coolant over temperature. Okay, I'm gonna let this Explorer cool down for a while. It didn't start to cool down at all, just sitting idling. So I'm going to let it cool down, and then I will I'll monitor stuff and try to see, I don't know, try to figure out more. Could it be, we put a water pump on it like a year ago. Could it be the impeller broke on the water pump? But in that case, or it's spinning somewhat on the shaft, and so at idle it can flow coolant, but then at higher speeds it cannot flow enough coolant. Is the thermostat sticking? I don't know. We'll have to try to figure out something to diagnose what our problem is. But then also, why do I smell coolant in the exhaust? So I don't know. Maybe not dive into that too much. I don't know. Well, I was going to drop this car off yesterday, but I got up to the highway and my truck low oil pressure message came on. The gauge went to low. So I hurried back, and basically off idle, it'd make oil pressure. But at idle, it showed it was not. Cold right now, we're making oil pressure. Yeah, I haven't even started to take a look at it because, well, dropping that car off can wait. And I've got other stuff to do. So seems to run good right now. Oh yeah, my gloves. But I plan to look at that possibly tomorrow. Spend some time, hook up an actual mechanical gauge to it, go drive it, and check oil level, everything like that. Try to diagnose it, get an idea. Because I know there's a lot of people with those engines that have experienced the same thing. Well, a lot of times people throw parts at those engines for that symptom, and they're wasting their time and money. Yeah, I didn't show you guys last night. Last night I was working on my oil barrel. I disassembled my motor, tried to figure out what maybe was causing it to go bad or not even turn on. So you can hear it click and or whatever whenever you hit the button, and it just wouldn't turn. You could freely turn the motor, but it wouldn't. So I'm guessing something shorted out and not turned it. I don't know. But I figured out I could put this pump on it and make everything work. The oil goes through the filter. I get clean oil. The problem is I left the spout coming off of the filter to the jug. I left it all down on the floor. And you can see, I mean, that over there by the rack was already there. But I need more oil dry. So, yeah. big oopsie, and so now I have it wrapped up high where it won't gravity feed, and yeah, I need to get all that cleaned up. Okay, we need to get this thing figured out. I really shouldn't lump you all into this, since I'm the one that has kind of dragged my feet on this one. Just because it's, I mean, it could be a thermostat, it could be a water pump. Hopefully it's not the water pump. I just did a water pump I think about a year ago, and it is, you guys saw, it overheats when driving. It does not overheat when idling. And let me specify that once you go drive it, it starts to overheat, and whenever you say you stop and you let the engine idle, it continues to overheat. I mean, I haven't let it go a long time, but I've waited about 10-15 minutes and it still continues to stay hot. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to try removing the thermostat and driving this. Looks like a Ford thermostat. The only reason I say that, yep, it says Motorcraft right there, 180 degrees. The reason, some of the aftermarket do not put the rubber on the inside here. I do not care for this style of thermostat because I've seen way too many fail. So let's run it without. I'm gonna cut this one up. That way we can basically do testing, and we'll whatever we figure out, we'll end up replacing the thermostat with it at the same time. Just to be on the safe side, and sometimes you just need to do testing like this. Okay, got our thermostat. Oh, it's the piece basically we need. Okay, it'll go in with this facing out. I'm actually going to, just to make sure we don't have any air pockets to cause any issues, I am going to pull a vacuum on the system and fill it with coolant. Then we'll start it, probably let it get up to temp without the cap on. Just, again, let it burp any air, give it all the chance, because yesterday when I drove it, it was not blowing hot air out of the heater. So I knew I didn't have coolant there. So could there be a chance that there was an air pocket, or the coolant then went up into the heater core and then created an air pocket in the engine? Possibly. On these, I think the heater core is actually higher than most of the engines, so I don't think it can do that, but you never know. Right now, we're at the full mark, so let's fire her up and just watch it. Okay, I'll let it run for a while. I'll probably take it outside, and I will update you guys periodically and let you know what I figure out. Now that is good. That little bit of something, it doesn't seem to be, it's like it was blowing exhaust, a very steamy exhaust, it seemed like. I don't know. I hope it's just me thinking it was, and that it's just like a thermostat, or maybe the water pump went bad again. I don't know. So we'll see. Starting to wonder if we do have a water pump failure, because we're up to temp. cylinder head temperature. That's how Ford reads temperature and on their gas engines. Reading 194. It was at 186 until I rev the engine. So I'm sitting at, let's say, around $3,000. I'll hold it there. And our thermostat would have opened at around 180, but we would have spiked in the 200s. So if this, theoretically, if this, well, is our fan coming on? Oh, the fan's coming on. Let's go see if the fans are coming on. 206, you'd think that the fan would come on. I'm not feeling any fans. I'm not under pressure. Everything seems to feel good. That upper radiator hose is cold. I bet we don't have any flow. It's almost acting like a water pump. 213. Yeah. The weird thing, oh, I think I just heard some fans. Yep, fans kicked on. But they're just blowing cold air. Okay, I'm gonna make the decision not to do any more really digging into this Explorer and trying to figure out what's wrong with it, because we've already opened up the thermostat, and at that point, we know that it's not the thermostat. I've checked for exhaust gases or combustion gases in the cooling system once on video and another time off video, just to double check to make sure I didn't miss something. I'm just gonna tear into figuring out whether it's a water pump or not. I could go through some more testing to try to figure out flow and everything, but I want to see it for myself. If the water pump's fine, put it back on, put it back together. We'll dig in and try to do diagnosing and figure something else out. That way we can just move forward. I feel like I've been dragging my feet on this Explorer. The other thing is that white Chevy with a broken lug nut. It blows me away that I've gone 20 something years without needing some kind of tool to remove broken lug nuts. Now, when I was at the dealership, we had a kit, the shop had a kit, and it was a weirder style with a smooth socket that you would drive on. I don't know if any of you all doing this remember those. I can't find that style anymore. All you can find is these knurled sockets for the most part that I can, or some variant of this. I don't know how I've gone so long without not needing those. I guess I'm kind of lucky in that department where there's other people that probably run into that on a regular basis. So if you all enjoy this content and you maybe think that somebody else would enjoy it, share the video. It does a lot for the channel. If you enjoy the content, I'd appreciate it if you'd subscribe and maybe like the video. And I appreciate everybody for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Thanks.